Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, this is Jan Paval with the Access Arts Live roundup of live stream action in the form of orchestral, choral, and ballet music coming to you this week, January 19th to January 26, 2026. All of it free of charge, all of it high quality productions to tell you about. How about that? And we're live streaming from Paris now for the next couple of weeks, so eat your hearts out. It's a lovely sunny afternoon. We're going earlier than usual. We have a lot of new subscribers these days from further east than Europe, so we're going to test out this time and see if any of them tune in or not. But in any event, before we go any further, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you watch us on any of our other platforms or on Facebook, do yourself a favor and follow Access Arts Live or subscribe to us to get more than 1,000 live links to live performances this year and next year and all the years that follow, because we're here to stay, I think. We are on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. And this week, we have got a great lineup for you. Every day of the week, starting on Wednesday, we've got orchestral and choral and, as I said, ballet music. Wednesday through Sunday, from Bournemouth to Tomsk to Frankfurt to Berlin and Cologne. Top soloists like pianist Vadym Kholodenko, cellist Jan Vogler, the music of Tchaikovsky, Chopin, Mendelssohn, Minkus, Mahler, Kodaly, Dvorak, and more. And I'm here to tell you about the more. So let's get started with the first of this week's live streams of this kind of big, what we call big stage live streams. And that will start out with the Bournemouth, or Bournemouth, as we Americans would pronounce it. But I'm pretty sure in England it's Bournemouth. The Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra. I'm getting my notes in a line here, having to answer all these questions before Word will let me just close the file. All right, Wednesday, January 21st, Marta Gardolińska leads the Bournemouth Orchestra in a Tchaikovsky Polonaise, a Chopin concerto, and a Mendelssohn symphony, with pianist Vadym Kholodenko on board for the Chopin. That's the Tchaikovsky. That's at 6:30 in the evening European time, 5:30 in Bournemouth, an early evening concert there in England. 12:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast. It's Tchaikovsky's Polonaise from Eugene Onegin, the opera, Chopin's Piano Concerto No. 1, and Mendelssohn's Symphony No. 3, the Scottish Symphony. Something happens. I don't understand how, but somebody told all these orchestras all over the world to start playing Mendelssohn symphonies, because they're playing Mendelssohn's Italian symphony all over the place. And now the Scottish Symphony. And I don't know if I came up with a list of all these people who've been playing it. I made a note of it, and now I can't find my note, but everybody's playing it. Mostly it's the Italian. This is the Scottish. So who is Marta Gardolińska? She's the music director of the Opéra National de Lorraine, the opera in Lorraine, France. And she was the principal guest conductor at the Barcelona Symphony from 2022 to 2024. She went through the Dudamel, Los Angeles Phil's Dudamel Fellow program in 2019 and 2020, the same way as other people like Gemma New and other top women conductors have done and before. And she was a BSO, a Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra young conductor back about 5-6 years ago. This year, she's doing debuts all over the place with the New York Phil, the Gothenburg Symphony, the Opéra de Paris, and she's already played with the London Symphony, the Swedish Radio Symphony Orchestra, that's a top orchestra, etc., and with some chamber orchestras. Her production in 2022 of Paderewski's Manru with the Lorraine National Opera received the grand prize of the Association of French Critics, which is nothing to sneeze at. As for Vadym Kholodenko, folks, I tell you, if you follow Access Arts Live, you see everybody, and you would have seen him live stream a couple of times already this year. He's connected with Bournemouth because his wife, it was the Bournemouth Artist in Residence last year. And so last April, he was live streamed doing violin sonatas with his wife, Elena Baeva, at Bournemouth. He was at La Scala in May, playing Schumann's piano concerto. He was at the Chopin and his Europe Festival live streaming in August, playing that magnificent Ravel's left-hand concerto. He was live streaming in the Rockefeller concert series in November, playing Beethoven and Boris Liatoshinsky and Franz Liszt. He's a former Van Cliburn gold medalist. This is a top concert. Check it out. I have to stop talking about it. I could talk for another 10 minutes about this pair. When I say this is a top concert, listen, I'm not all that editorial, but this is a top concert. Okay, we move on to the next concert that I have to tell you about, which will be a fun concert if you like ballet music. Do I have the guys? Do I have us? Yeah, that is Zakhar Nikiforov, who you see on screen there, playing a French horn and also as a conductor. Up-and-coming Russian conductor Zakhar Nikiforov leads the Tomsk Philharmonic in selections from Minkus's ballet Don Quixote, with narration provided, brush up on your Russian, of course, by host Larissa Okisheva. That'll be on Thursday, January 22nd. It'll be at 7 in the evening, KRAT time. That's Siberia, which is 1 in the afternoon here in Europe, 8 in the morning on the East Coast, and a comfortable 11 p.m. down under in Australia. Lovely time to listen to ballet music if you love ballet music. They're doing a series of legends of the ballet, and this is one of the ballets they came up with, Ludwig Minkus's ballet, Don Quixote. And, well, I want to read to you the program notes, though, because I think it's lovely, and I want you to remember the Russians love their children, too. Cervantes' Don Quixote is a poem about faith in miracles, justice, and the power of true love. Minkus's music is vibrant, bright, full of dance energy and southern temperament. It features ceremonial marches, tender arias, dazzling final scenes where love and happiness triumph. Come to the Don Quixote concert to remember how important it is to believe in yourself and to be a knight in a world where everything seems ordinary. Sorry, I get all choked up by that. It's just a lovely description. So check that out if you like ballet music, or if not, I'm sure it'll be lovely music out there in Siberia. Now back to Europe. Our next concert, another two top guys who know each other well and work together. Friday, January 23rd, often itinerant conductor Kent Nagano leads the Frankfurt Radio Symphony and Franz Schubert's Great C Major Symphony, and he's joined by cellist Jan Vogler for Henri Dutilleux's cello concerto Tout un monde lointain, all of a distant world. That's at 8 in the evening European time, 2 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 in the morning on the West Coast, 6 a.m. down under in Australia. But, you know, it's the height of summer. Some of you might be up early in the height of summer in Australia. Sun comes up early, doesn't it? They'll be doing the first piece that they're doing by Henri Dutilleux, Tout un monde lointain. This is another example of what I was talking about earlier when I talked about everybody's playing Mendelssohn. Now everybody's playing Dutilleux's Tout un monde lointain. And if you follow Access Arts Live, you would have had 3 chances to hear that already last year. In May, Frankfurt Radio Symphony played the same piece with cellist Peter Stemler, conducted by Deliana Lazarova, who was in one of the live streams we told you about last week with the Detroit Symphony. And then in September, the Berlin Phil did the same piece with Maximilian Hornung on the cello. And in December, the St. Petersburg Philharmonic did it with Alexander Ram. I mean, they get these anyway. So, but if you're following us, you get a chance to hear a piece like that, if it's a piece you love, performed different ways by different performers with different orchestras and conductors. I think it's terrific. Well, of course, that's why I do this. And then they'll do the Schubert Great C Major Symphony. Kent Nagano has been chief conductor at the Spanish National Orchestra in Madrid since September of this year. And he's working together already with the cellist Jan Vogler, who does a lot besides just playing the cello, as artistic director of the Ring Project, the Wagner Cycles, with the Dresdner Musikfestspiele and the Dresdner Festspielorchester and the Concerto Köln. So these two guys are working hand in hand. So of course they said, "Oh, let's do this concert together." And if you look up Nagano, he's played with everybody. And for about a decade, he was the music director with the Hamburg State Opera. So that's come to an end now. So then he's moved on to Spain. Well, why not? Warmer weather. And Vogler has played as a top cellist who's played with London, New York, Berlin, Leipzig Orchestra stuff, all the top ones. And he works very much with contemporary composers and artists, which is not what he's doing in this concert, but he's done world premieres of works by people like Tigran Mansourian, John Harbison, Udo Zimmermann, Wolfgang Riem, Jörg Wiedmann, a cello concerto. And I don't have the notes on it, but we told you about the Wiedmann cello concerto being played by Vogler, I think. Might have been with the Berlin Phil, and that was composed for him. So okay, so that's on Friday, right? I think I told you about the time and the date and the time. So then we move on to Saturday's live offerings. And we have two concerts for you on Saturday, and one of them is not free of charge. That's true. And I think it's the one I'm going to tell you about right now. That's right. Saturday, January 24th, the Berlin Phil hosts guest conductor Lahav Shani to conduct Charles Ives' The Unanswered Question, Dvorak's New World Symphony, and along with violinist Daishin Kashimoto, they'll play Shostakovich's Violin Concerto No. 1 in A minor, Opus 77, as revised up to 1955, for those of you who really keep track of this kind of thing. That'll be at 7 in the evening on Saturday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon in New York, 10 in the morning in LA. It is the one of this week's orchestral live streams. It's not free of charge because the Berlin Phil will charge you €9.90 to view it. They'll also try to get you to subscribe by promising you a lot more, but 95% of what they give you is recordings, and YouTube is already loaded with recordings. The live streams, they give you very few live streams, but we tell you about every one they do because we want you to know about it. Daishin Kashimoto spent 15 years as the concert master of the Berlin Philharmonic. So he knows this orchestra, they know him, and he knows this piece. As for the conductor, Lahav Shani, he's an Israeli conductor, music director of the Israeli Philharmonic Orchestra, started out about a decade ago with the Rotterdam Philharmonic Orchestra, and that was, I think that ran out in 2020, August 2026. I'm pretty sure it did. And so now he's taken up this post as well, no, it's concluding at the end of this year. That's been announced. So, and he's been with the Israeli Philharmonic since 2020, 2021. So he's an established music director. And if you're wondering if I'm going to comment on the controversy over how they canceled one of his concerts because he was Jewish, I'm not going to comment on it, except to say Access Arts Live, we don't get involved in politics, and we don't believe that politics should intrude upon the world of music or opera or ballet or any of the live streams we tell you about. Okay, let's move on to the next live stream we have to tell you about here. Let me just double check to make, yeah, we are live streaming on Instagram currently. So let's move on. And then there's a concert free of charge, though, an excellent free of charge concert coming to you on Saturday evening, just an hour after the Berlin Phil starts up. So why not? Christian Macellaro is back in Cologne Saturday, January 24th to conduct Mahler's Fifth, joined by cellist Jan Soltani for 2 Tchaikovsky pieces for cello and orchestra in a free of charge, as ever, ARD Classique live stream. So he has, Christian Macellaro ran the Cologne Philharmonic for a number of years, and then he left to be the music director at Cincinnati. And he was in Cincinnati just this last Saturday, conducting a tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. And I guess got on a plane and headed off to Cologne. This will be at 8 o'clock in the evening, Saturday, January 24th, 2 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 in the morning on the West Coast, and 6 in the morning the next day down under in Australia. The 2 Tchaikovsky pieces that Soltani will play will be the Nocturne in D minor for cello and orchestra, Opus 19, number 4, and the Variations on a Rococo theme for cello and orchestra, Opus 33. And then they'll do the Gustav Mahler Symphony number 5 in C sharp minor, which has that famous Adagietto, which was like a love poem from Mahler to his beloved. Once again, if you're following Access Arts Live, you've seen Jan Soltani play before. In September of 2024, I believe it was, he did one of Stage Plus's Yellow Lounge concerts, which was live streamed with Daniil Trifonov. And he played a bunch of songs by Robert Schumann, which were the focus of his new album. He's been with Deutsche Grammophon since 2017. Daniil Trifonov is with Deutsche Grammophon as well. In November of this year, he was live streamed with the Frankfurt Radio Symphony. So you'd have had 2 chances in the past to already see him. Soltani, I think he lives in Vienna. He's an Austrian of Persian ancestry. His claim to fame, a decade ago, he won the International Paolo Cello Competition up in Helsinki. And then he played with Daniel Barenboim's West East Divan Orchestra, which is a wonderful thing. This year, he's been the focus artist of the Zurich Tonhall Orchestra. He played with the Vienna Symphony, the Köln Symphony, the Elbe Philharmonie, Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra. You can see him following in the footsteps of Macellaro, and with the Berlin Concert House, which I think would have been with Joanna Malwitz, who I think is the conductor there. Top guy. And I think that they're calling this symphony, the official title of it is Declaration of Love, Macellaro and Mahler's Fifth. And I think that's not just talking about how Mahler composes lovely adagio that you'll find in that Fifth Symphony for as a declaration of love for his wife, Alma, but it's also, I think it's safe to say Macellaro loves Gustav Mahler too. Okay, and then we have one last live stream to tell you about. This week, in the way of orchestral and choral stuff, there's still going to be the organ stuff and the chamber music stuff that I'll be telling you about later. And where is my, here it is. Where's the photo that I want to show you? And I cannot find the photo that I want to show you. So there you go. Made a mistake again. Folks, this is going to be a lovely choral concert coming up on Sunday. Sunday, January 25th, the WDR Rundfunkchor, that's also known as the Cologne Radio Choir, sings the world premiere of Michael Langeman's Sirene, commissioned by the WDR, and Zoltan Kodaly's Missa Brevis, which was originally composed for organ alone, with George Warren inaugurating the newly restored organ in the great broadcasting hall there at the WDR Broadcasting House on Wallrafplatz. How about that? That's all in Cologne. They'll start out doing motets, 4 motets by Aaron Copland, 3 motets, opus 110 by Johannes Brahms. Then they'll do the Michael Langemann. It's a world premiere, and then they'll do the Zoltan Kodaly. The conductor is Philip Amann. I looked up Michael Langemann, and I went to his website, and let me show you a photo of the man, of the composer. I wanted a photo of the two of them together, and I didn't manage to come up with that. This is Michael Langemann. I went to his website, and here's all it says on his website in terms of words. Michael Langemann is a Russian-German composer born in Moscow, inventing new forms in music for opera, concert, and film, working with inspiring artists of all disciplines, loving beauty. So that's it. He has been associated with the conservatory in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I know that. I know he has composed at least 4 operas and lots of other music as well. As for this choir, it's a very lively choir. It's very professional. They've been around since 1947. They do some really cool things. They go out and do flash mobs. Here they are in the marketplace in Cologne, and they'll start singing, and and they always draw a crowd when they do it, and they bring the music. In this case, they were singing from an opera. They bring the music to the people, and the people love it. Those who think that the common man does not love the performing arts, they're absolutely wrong. You just have to get them to it, which is why Access Arts Live is here. So, folks, that's what we have with you this week in terms of live streams taking place on big stages. I'll close by saying I hope that one, some, more, or any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. With that, I'll remind you once again, if you watch us on Facebook, please like the video. If you watch us on any of our platforms, do yourself a favor and follow or subscribe to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X, or LinkedIn, and we'll make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live productions of the performing arts this year and every year to come. With that, it's time for me to say au revoir, à plus tard, à bientôt, because we still have this week's live stream roundups of organ recitals and of chamber music to come today and tomorrow. Look for us. We'll be showing up. I've just moved back down here to Paris from Stockholm, so our schedule may be a bit irregular, but if you follow us, you will get the notices when we're going to do this. Ciao for now.